A user by the name of Altman360 recently posted on a Reddit subreddit board, Internet Mysteries. He posted about how he found this weird post on an onion board on the dark web. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe an onion board on the dark web would refer to some sort of anonymous message board where nobody can track you or where you're posting from. The post is from somebody claiming to be a 14-year-old girl who is asking the community for advice on how to get with a much older man. More specifically, how to basically run away with him without him getting kidnapped and without anybody finding her. Here's the post. How can I get kidnapped without getting the man that does it caught? I'm a 14-year-old girl. There's a guy that I message constantly. He's 28 and I really like him. He's sweet and caring to me and obviously really cares about my feelings. I wouldn't ever be doing this if I weren't completely 100% sure that he really cares about me. I may be young, but I'm not stupid, though those reading this will likely think otherwise. My mom is mentally and verbally abusive and I don't have any friends. I really just want to get away from the life I have now. I've actually brought it up to him before, the possibility of him quote unquote kidnapping me. I already have a lot planned out. He would come down to where I live, park across the road from my neighbor's house, text me that he's there. I would take my phone and money and get in. On the way to wherever he takes me, I would get out at a field, throw my phone on the ground, and smash it to bits. That way, if the police ping my phone, we'll already be gone and they can't get any information out of it because it's broken. I wouldn't leave the place he puts me at until the search dies down, no matter how long it takes. I'll stay there for years, never stepping outside if I have to. I'll grow my hair and dye it, completely change my style, and make sure no one would be able to identify me. Are the things I have come up with so far good? And what's the chance that after all that and extensive careful planning and operation, he would still get caught? Is there any way that I could possibly have him not get in trouble if he does? Or would it just be too late? Also, please do not answer or comment with, "This is fucked up," or "You're crazy for this." I'm very aware. I'm not here for bullshit that I already know. I'm here for answers. And then there's a follow-up post. Hello. Thank you everyone for the answers and comments. I'm still wondering about this question, which is why I haven't selected the best answer yet. I thought maybe I should clear some things up as I realized there's things I've thought and had not put in my post. Firstly, and I mean this in no self-righteous or bragging way, I'm not stupid. I'm very aware of the risks. I know that honestly it doesn't count for much, but I am a straight A student and I have an IQ of 134. I appreciate the concern of those of you who are informing me of the risks, but I already have thought about that and I've decided they're risks I'm willing to take. I'm also an incredible judge of character. I'm not just saying that. I would never ever consider doing this if I wasn't completely sure that he doesn't want to kill me for my organs or sell me into sex trafficking. He's already told me his intentions and I am perfectly okay and honestly would enjoy them. I know he's not lying. Secondly, I can't report him to my mother even if I wanted to. She will do absolutely nothing about it because she doesn't care. The point about tracking messages through Wi-Fi/service provider rather than the phone itself is definitely something I need to research. Thank you for bringing this up because I see that it's definitely a cause for concern. One thing that I haven't mentioned is that the man lives across the country from me, so unless through text, he would have absolutely no reason to be a suspect. I really do appreciate all of the points that have been made here, though I wish to keep this open for a bit more in case other people come along with other perspectives that provide more risks, concerns, and such. Thank you all. P.S. To the anonymous that wrote the answer that starts with, "Whatever you end up doing, please don't listen to ... I really appreciate the way you're thinking about this. I personally cringed a bit every time someone mentioned a normal man due to the fact that normal is a very broad term that differs for many different circumstances. Thank you so much for the advice on having the car about a mile away and being very particular with the way the phone is destroyed. About the evils of mental abuse, I'm sure you can guess that it's the exact reason I would even think about this idea, let alone seriously consider going through with it. I'm still not completely sure if I will go through with it, as it's a huge decision. Thank you so much for your answer." Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there, but basically we'll unpack it by saying there's about 4 different possibilities of what could actually be going on here in this incredibly disturbing, creepy post. Option 1 is absolutely horrifying to think about, but it could be that it is the 28-year-old man or some older man that is posting this, trying to pose as a 14-year-old girl. The motivation for doing something like this beyond just being super creepy, is to get tips and advice as if you're not a creep and you're the 14-year-old naive girl, and getting all tips and advice from people and helping them come up with things that you haven't thought of, because he is planning on kidnapping a 14-year-old girl. So he's subtly asking the internet for help with how not to get caught and to go undetected by authorities. There's several reasons that people think this might be the case. The first one being, this post and the language used in it does not sound like a 14-year-old girl. Some did comment on this post and say that they either talked like this when they were 14, or that 14-year-olds could totally type and write like this. But most agree that it's probably unlikely that this would be the average teenage girl. There's very few spelling and grammar mistakes, and the sentence structure is quite advanced, as well as the fact that there's no mention of school or like drama with her friends or anything like that. The other reason is that a 14-year-old girl is highly unlikely to use Tor or the dark web internet browsers, and also unlikely to know that she'd be more or less anonymous there than other places. It's just unlikely that a girl that young would know that much about the dark web and to know how to go on it. In my opinion, it's more likely that she would go somewhere like Reddit or Yahoo or something like that and ask for advice there, being too naive to know. But on the other hand, if she has an IQ of 134 like she said, it is technically possible. To be fair, I mean, anything's possible, but just saying, the average teenage girl that young probably would not know that or know how to type this way. And so to many, it's more likely that it is a creepy man who's either in a relationship with an underage girl child, or he is planning on kidnapping some child that he has his eyes on and he wants to go about it in a sneaky way. Option number 2. It's an FBI honeypot. An FBI honeypot is basically a sting operation. It's something the FBI or other government agencies would use to bait predators online by posting these kind of posts to see if they can catch people in illegal acts. This would make more sense from the dark web point of view, because it would make way more sense that an FBI agent would know how to use the dark web and what it would be for. This would also make the language of the post make more sense, because it would be an adult impersonating a child trying to bait a predator. In the second follow-up post, they do directly talk to someone in the comments with their little PS addition, and this person was actually trying to help them and give whoever posted this advice. So maybe that was the FBI trying to get that particular person to engage with the post more so that they could catch them or get them to admit to doing something else illegal. But I have to wonder, because if that is what this is, it doesn't seem like a very effective way to catch people. I mean, nobody commenting on this type of post is going to incriminate themselves, right? Any creeps who are not totally against this idea and are actually trying to help this girl, only saying things like, oh, you might not want to get in his car so close to your home, or don't forget about the Wi-Fi on your phone. It's creepy, definitely, that there's people that would encourage somebody to carry this plan out, but I'm not sure how that traps anybody into admitting that they've done illegal activity. Giving advice of that kind of topic is morally wrong, but it's not illegal. Maybe somebody would comment and say, oh yeah, I did this once. I'm 30 and I did this with a 13-year-old girl once because I really loved her and we ran off and I did this, this, and this. But if some criminal was dumb enough to comment that on a website, whether it's the dark web or not, if they're that stupid, they'd probably already be in jail anyway. However, to be fair, I am not FBI. I am not any type of expert on this type of thing. So maybe they know a bunch of stuff that I don't, and maybe this catches a lot more people, or it's for some specific case that I don't know the details of. Totally possible. The third option, another really, really disturbing one, is that the post was written by a 14-year-old girl planning on carrying this out. Several comments on this Reddit post talk about how they know girls, quote unquote, like this, or they knew a bunch of girls at their high school that were underage dating older men in their 20s. And they also said it definitely wasn't like considered weird when they would talk about it in high school amongst their friends. In fact, you were seen as really cool if you were dating a much older guy, because it, you know, showed how grown up and mature you were. And unfortunately, those girls do not realize that they are actually victims of pedophilia and creepy behavior. And then a lot of others on this post did mention how it's totally possible that a 14-year-old girl would know what Tor is and know how to access the dark web. Maybe not all of the people at the high school, but a good chunk of people would totally know that as it is. Or if there was a 14-year-old girl that wanted to play this thing out, she might ask around her school and ask the tech nerds, you know, the best way to go about this or the best way to post something online anonymously. If this is actually the case, it is absolutely horrifying to think that there is a girl out there who is planning on running away with a 28-year-old pedophile. I don't care how much she tries to convince us or herself on that post that she is so smart and she knows that he cares about her. It literally doesn't matter. If you are a child and he is an adult, then there's a total power differential there that you have, no matter how smart you are, you cannot consent to that relationship properly. Your brain is not developed enough. I'm sorry. I don't care how much he even thinks that he loves you. He's a pedophile. My question would be, can you even report these kind of things if you're on the dark web? I don't know, because I've never been on the dark web before, but like, is there anything you can do if you come across a post like that and you are, you know, a good person? Can you click 3 little dots next to posts like this and say report, or can you send it to the FBI, and are they able to do anything if you do send it to the FBI? I don't know, just curious. You'd think that if the FBI were setting up honeypots like this on the internet, they would also be able to track down something like this if somebody actually posted it. The fourth option is that it's just a troll. I honestly don't think it's a troll in my personal opinion, just because I don't think a troll would post on the dark web. I think a troll would post somewhere way more public, like again, Yahoo or Reddit or something like that, because they'd want to get as much of a reaction and as much attention as they could possibly get. Not as many people go on the dark web, so they might not get the attention that they're seeking, or worse, a lot of people on the dark web will take it seriously and be totally on board, so they're not getting the reaction and the negativity that they're searching for being a troll. You'd just think it wouldn't be as satisfying for a troll. But again, we don't know in the end. It could actually all be a hoax. Honestly, it really creeps me out to say this, but I personally think the most likely scenario is that it's the older guy trying to figure out how he can get away with something like this. I don't know. All I have is what I told you in this video, but that's just like my instinct. But I've been wrong before, and I hope I'm wrong about that. I am, of course, hoping that it is the FBI with a honeypot trying to catch people. There's really no way to know, but we can only hope. So that's going to be the video for today. Something I stumbled across and kind of went down a rabbit hole. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. Don't forget to like, and I will see you all in the next one.